Well, hello everybody, welcome to part 3 of Monty the Militant's restoration. Well, now we've got the skip off, we can start having a look at taking the cab apart. Given the state of it, I'm quite tempted to take a grinder to the whole thing and just rip the lot off. But that said, unless somebody miraculously comes up with a replacement cab, which I think is highly unlikely, then I'm going to have to rebuild this one, starting from scratch. So I need to salvage as much as possible, even if it's only for use as patterns for copying when I'm making the new parts. The driver's doors already fell off, so we'll move on to the passenger side. Both hinges are well seized, but looking at it, I'm quite happy to cut the pins out of the hinges because they're the same type as used on Land Rovers, and you can still buy the bits. I just need to put a bit of towel over the window to stop the grinder sparks from catching on the glass. The most important bit you need to save out of the hinges are these little balls out of the middle. They're a specific shape for the Militants, sort of cone at one end and round at the other end. Don't lose them because you can't get hold of new ones. I'll have to keep them safe somewheres. On the inside then, now we've got the door off, start shifting some of these old bits of ceiling panel and that fell off, and that bit of wood. Most of this lot's going straight in the bin, given the state of it. It's just dropped off everywhere. That cab roof light needs saving though. I'll just get a pair of side cutters, we'll have that off before we go too far. Yeah, I think looking at that, that's going to clean up. Yeah, it'll live again, will that? Another one for the storage box. In the meantime, that bit of panel can go. Oh, hello, what's this? Ah, that's a bonus. I didn't know this was here. This is the side cover off the engine. And I was expecting to have to make a new one. That drops in here and fits on there. Now that's a nice find, that is very convenient. I'm not sure about that bit of floor though. That's not going to live again, is it? Definitely got to save the windows. Some of this glass is irreplaceable. On the early Park Royal cabs, these window frames are made of brass, so they haven't corroded like the rest of the cab has, and they should be savable. However, this offside quarter light's a bit funny. Talk about a bad design. When you open it, and it does open, it don't open at all because it catches on the mirror arm at the side. That's a bit of a flaw. Never mind. We'll sort that out when we get to it. At least we can save the piece of glass and it won't get broken. Right, that's all the glass safely stashed away. The front windscreens came out in one piece. Frames and everything, the whole lot. It just fell out. And that's left a gaping great hole that's going to want a fair bit of work putting back together. Never mind. I didn't bother taking this back window out. It's completely rotten and somebody's bodged it up with a piece of plastic anyway. So yeah, that's not worth saving. Militant cabs are designed to separate into two halves, the top and the bottom. So with the chains on and a couple of wooden spars in, we should be able to lift the top straight off. There we go, Tonka at the ready, up she comes. No problem. And we can whip that away into the storage space. Just a thing though, has anybody noticed that bit of chain that's hanging down at the back? Because I didn't. I'm too busy filming, I suppose, and trying to do, and all of a sudden, oops, that wasn't meant to happen. Still, got away with it, and the top of the cab's now safely stashed. With that out of the way, I can start looking at the bottom half now without fear of anything else falling on me. And there's lots to be saved here, starting with that little indicator pod and the screen wash bottle. Dashboard wants saving, although my god it's going to want some work. All seized up, light switch there, even the start handle That's all solid and seized up. Here's a little surprise though. Screen wash bottle. The screen wash still works. Very nice too. Definitely saving that bit. I started taking the dashboard apart, but then the whole lot just fell on the floor, so that saved a bit of effort, I suppose. We'll collect that up. Then I moved on to the back. This luggage pin behind the driver's seat. That, and you've got the tipping controls down this left-hand side. They'll need saving. That little block there hanging on the PTO lever, that is all that's holding the back of the truck up at the moment. I didn't realise at first. Disconnected underneath, foot brake valves off, starter motor electrics are off, so we're getting ready to lift the whole cab. I can't separate that tipper thing though, that's well seized up, so I'm just going to take that off, drop it down through the floor for the time being. We'll have a look at that later. Do excuse the finger that got in the way of the camera there. It didn't take much chopping a piece of floor out, and that can hang down there quite safely until I'm ready to sort it out later. Oh, there's my bit of floor that, well, I helped it fall off. Once I released that little catch on the top of the gear lever there, the whole back just fell out. It would appear there's nothing whatsoever holding that on. It's just resting. Even on the passenger side, that's completely broken away altogether. So I think, for the time being, I'm just going to lift that up, get it out of the way. I don't think we're going to damage it any more than it already is. So we'll just lift it straight up, wheel that off to the pile. There's still bits to be salvaged. Them luggage cages will go round again, and the air intake out of the middle. I'm not sure about the panel work. I think most of that's destined for the bin. Mind you, with the back of the cab out of the way, it did make getting these auxiliary gear levers a bit easier to get to. But don't get any ideas, they just fell out. This took a couple of hours work trying to free all this lot off. You've got brass, aluminium and steel all together. Not a good combination. The actual levers themselves had to come out in one piece. Couldn't separate them at all. A couple of bits of engine cover have been taken out of the middle just to get to the last couple of bolts down at the front by the steering column there. Front cab mounts are right tucked underneath here, and they're quite difficult to get to. Got them. Rear ones came off much easier. Obviously got room to work now without the back of the cab. And the same on the near side at the front. Two mounting bolts tucked right up underneath. So, straps on. Let's see how we get on. Up she comes. All looking good. Make sure there's no bits of chain hanging down this time. That said, then got caught on the handbrake lever. Which didn't cause too much of a problem. Pulled it over, got it out the way, and lifted it straight up. And as you can see from the underside of that, there isn't exactly a lot left, even to use as a pattern, but still. We manage, it's out of the way, and it can join the other bits on the side here. But don't get any ideas this is a scrap pile. This is the patiently waiting its turn to get redone pile. So at least it's tucked out of the way here, it's in the corner, and it can just sit there until we're ready to do it. I don't think it's going to get any more rusty than it is now. It looks a bit different now with no skip and no cab, just the bare bones. Still, at least nothing's going to drop on me or fall on my head while I'm trying to work on it. And we can crack on with the rest of it. I think the first job is going to be give it a damn good wash, judging by all them rust crumbs that are hanging about everywhere. I managed to salvage quite a bit from the cab. All these bits are going to get bagged and tagged for the time being. And come the winter, when it's too cold to be out here on the farm working, I can do these in the warmth of the shed at home. Well, I think that's it for part 3. If you've enjoyed watching, please click the like and subscribe buttons. it'll encourage me to do some more. Hopefully, we'll see you all again in part 4. Bye now.